Recently, there's been an interesting debate emerging about whether extended range electric vehicles, or E-Revs, could be a good fit for the US market. Zachary Shahan, a well-known editor at CleanTechnica, raised the question in a recent article titled, "Are E-Revs a good option for the USA?" The discussion stems from growing attention around automakers, including Volvo, experimenting again with E-Revs after years of focusing primarily on full battery electric vehicles. In the United States, electric vehicle adoption has been slower compared to regions like Europe or China. While EVs are steadily growing in popularity, they still make up a relatively small percentage of total car sales. Some people believe that the introduction of modern E-Revs, cars that primarily run on electricity but have a small gasoline engine to recharge the battery, could help hesitant consumers transition away from traditional internal combustion engines. The question is whether these vehicles could serve as a bridge for Americans who want the benefits of electric driving, but still feel uneasy about range limitations or charging infrastructure. Zachary's article was prompted by a visit that Kyle Field, another journalist, made to Volvo's Charleston factory in the United States. During the visit, Volvo executives mentioned the company's intention to bring extended-range electric vehicles to the US market. That revelation caught Zachary's attention because while such vehicles have been popular in China in recent years, they have nearly disappeared from American roads. A few years ago, the US had models like the BMW i3 REX and the Chevrolet Volt, vehicles that relied on a similar concept. But most automakers have since phased them out to focus on purely electric designs. However, Zachary's observation about E-Revs being especially popular in China isn't entirely accurate anymore. While it's true that these vehicles have had a period of strong demand there, recent data shows their share of new energy vehicle sales, meaning EVs, plug-in hybrids, and E-Revs combined, is actually shrinking. Today, E-Revs account for only about 10% of new energy vehicle sales in China, and their share has been slowly declining. Plug-in hybrids have held steady, but the real growth is coming from full battery electric cars, which now dominate the market. Sales of new energy vehicles overall have reached record highs, but that momentum is almost entirely driven by fully electric models rather than hybrids or E-Revs. Zachary points out that earlier attempts at E-Revs, like the BMW i3 REX, were useful for their time. When the i3 was introduced, its electric-only range was around 70 miles, and there were few affordable long-range electric options. The small gasoline engine that acted as a range extender provided peace of mind and flexibility for longer trips, even if it was rarely used. In his own experience, he recalled driving a range-extended BMW for 9 months and using the gasoline engine only 2 or 3 times, spending just a few dollars on fuel during that entire period. That example highlighted how effectively these vehicles could cover most daily driving needs purely on electricity, while still eliminating range anxiety. The Chevrolet Volt, another early example, also earned loyal fans. With about 40 miles of electric range, Volt owners often drove almost entirely on battery power for local commutes and only relied on gasoline during long journeys. Those vehicles proved that even limited electric range could significantly reduce fuel consumption for the average driver. The landscape has changed dramatically since those early models. Battery technology has advanced, and modern electric vehicles now offer significantly more range, often more than 250 miles per charge, and sometimes well over 300. Some of the new E-Revs being developed in China now provide as much as 400 kilometers, roughly 250 miles, of all-electric range before the small gasoline generator even needs to start. In other words, many of today's E-Revs can handle almost all normal driving situations without ever engaging their range extenders. Given this evolution, Zachary wonders whether now is the right time for an E-Rev revival in the United States. Automakers such as Volvo seem to think so, as they explore ways to reintroduce this technology in markets beyond China. Others remain skeptical. The core question is whether there's still a real need for such vehicles when full EVs are rapidly improving in range, affordability, and charging speed. Zachary outlines several advantages and disadvantages to help frame the issue. On the positive side, E-Revs could be an excellent choice for those who drive exceptionally long distances on a regular basis, hundreds of miles per day. While that's a small percentage of the population, it's not insignificant in a country as large as the United States. For these drivers, the ability to refuel quickly at a gas station when necessary could ease concerns about charging availability. E-Revs might also appeal to people who remain hesitant about transitioning to a fully electric car. Many consumers still feel nervous about running out of charge or not finding a charger during a long trip. For them, a range extender could provide a psychological bridge, a safety net that helps them feel comfortable enough to adopt an electric-first lifestyle. Another potential advantage relates to resource efficiency. Building a full-size, long-range electric car requires a large battery pack, which means using more lithium, nickel, and other materials. An E-Rev, by contrast, can deliver most of the benefits of electric driving while using a smaller battery, because the gasoline engine covers those rare occasions when more range is needed. This could make E-Revs a more resource-efficient option in the short term, particularly if battery materials remain expensive or in limited supply. On the downside, however, developing E-Revs can be more complex than producing pure electric vehicles. Integrating both an electric drivetrain and an internal combustion system adds engineering challenges and manufacturing costs. Zachary argues that this dual-system approach increases production expenses and can result in higher prices for consumers. But engineers working in China have pointed out that modern E-Revs aren't as complicated to build as one might think. Many are developed directly from existing EV platforms. Manufacturers simply take a battery electric vehicle design, fit it with a smaller battery, and add a compact engine, often a 1.5-liter turbocharged unit that powers a generator to recharge the battery when needed. These engines do not drive the wheels directly, but instead act as efficient energy sources when the battery runs low. Because of that, the difference in production cost between an EV and an E-Rev is smaller than it used to be. Still, even if the additional hardware doesn't double production costs, there are legitimate concerns about reliability and maintenance. Adding an engine means adding more parts that can fail. It increases the need for regular maintenance, such as oil changes and emissions checks, which full EVs don't require. The simplicity and durability of all-electric drivetrains are among their biggest advantages, and E-Revs partially sacrifice that simplicity. For regular families, however, the case is weaker. With EV prices steadily falling and new models achieving ranges once thought impossible, the gap between what consumers want and what full EVs can deliver is closing fast. In China, for instance, new Tesla and BYD models are achieving ranges of up to 700 kilometers, around 430 miles, under WLTP testing standards, a level that removes most range-related anxiety. Vehicles with that kind of performance make the argument for E-Revs less compelling. At the same time, the cost of producing EV batteries continues to drop, making fully electric vehicles more affordable. Industry analysts expect battery pack prices to keep falling as production scales and technology improves. Combined with faster charging infrastructure and software that optimizes battery longevity, EVs are poised to meet nearly every use case except for those extreme towing or cross-country scenarios. Given all this, it seems likely that E-Revs may serve only as a short-term solution during the transition to widespread electrification. They might appeal to consumers who are still cautious or live in rural areas where public chargers remain scarce. But as infrastructure improves and battery technology matures, the reasons to choose an E-Rev will become fewer. The American market in particular faces unique challenges and opportunities. The country's size and reliance on long-distance driving mean range anxiety remains more pronounced than in Europe or urban China. However, the rapid build-out of nationwide charging networks, supported by federal and private investments, is quickly closing that gap. In just a few years, the average EV driver in the US may have no practical need for a gasoline backup at all. Ultimately, while E-Revs can offer an appealing transitional option, their long-term role looks limited. As more Americans experience electric driving firsthand and see how rarely long trips actually require a charge mid-journey, confidence in full EVs will likely grow. The convenience of charging at home, combined with lower maintenance costs and the accelerating pace of battery innovation, will make fully electric cars the default choice for most people. E-Revs may find a small but specific niche, towing, rural driving, or serving consumers who remain skeptical of charging infrastructure, but they are unlikely to dominate the market again. Their moment might come as a temporary bridge for some buyers, yet the larger trend remains clear. The automotive world is moving steadily toward full electrification. In summary, the conversation about E-Revs highlights a fascinating transitional phase in the journey toward cleaner mobility. They might make sense for a few years or for a narrow segment of drivers. But as electric vehicles continue to improve in range, affordability, and convenience, the argument for range extenders will continue to fade. The focus for automakers and policymakers alike should remain on advancing battery technology, expanding charging networks, and accelerating the shift to zero-emission transport, rather than revisiting hybrid compromises of the past.